Ooh la la. Oh, well.
People like games.
I am Reggie with People Like Games, and today we're going to have a little conversation with TeddyRoseKidd. Can I call you Teddy? What do you like to be called?
Teddy's just fine. Everyone calls me Teddy, so it's perfectly fine.
All right. So we came into this conversation because I saw, was it Game Rant featured you?
Yeah, no, it was Game Radar.
Game Radar. Okay, yeah. So I was just looking through like the gaming news and stuff, and that came up, and I've been a huge fan of demakes for like as long as I've seen them on the internet. You know, people just, I think some of the first ones I saw, and it's funny you mentioned right before we started recording, was the Super Smash Brothers. I saw one way back in the day that I used to like play on browser. And,
oh, wow.
And ever since then, that was like, I always loved the idea of people just taking, because I'm a big fan of like really nice sprite work and like 8-bit games and stuff like that. So anytime someone took a really cool game and pushed it like as far back as they could, I always thought it was really great.
Makes sense. I'm like the same way. Yeah.
So we'll start with simple stuff. Give yourself a little plug. Let the people know where they can find you.
Oh, hey, I'm TeddyRoseKidd. You can find me on Twitch at TeddyRoseKidd. That's kid with 2 Ds. On Twitch, it's spelled K1DD. On my YouTube channel, it's just TeddyRoseKidd, 2 Ds, KIDD. And on Twitter, it's also just TeddyRoseKidd with KIDD.
All right.
So those are pretty much all the places that you can find me online.
Yeah, and I saw on Twitch, you could give people a little more detail of what you do, but what I saw when I came recently was you actually doing some of your development live on your Twitch. Is that what most of your content is?
My Twitch is kind of touch and go. Like, I like streamed on Twitch regularly back in November just to see what it was like. So I streamed for like a week or two, and then I got wrong verbiage. I got affiliated. But I was kind of just doing it just like to mess around, and then I ended up getting 5 subs, and I didn't plan on doing it like as a full-time thing, so I just stopped streaming altogether. But when it comes to Twitch, I just stream myself playing games when I feel like it, and now I plan on using it to stream myself working on projects. I haven't really started yet. I mean, I did the Breath of the Wild one as a test one to see if like how like my computer would like run it, and it ran it pretty well. So that was just a test one. Like, as far as all my future projects, I plan on streaming them on Twitch.
That's actually really awesome because in the videos, you often will like gloss over the coding stuff and say you don't want to hear about this nerdy coding stuff. But like, that's something I like to hear about. So I like hopping in there and checking out like what's going on behind the scenes and everything.
Yeah, I was... Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was thinking about just releasing some like the source code when I'm like done with files, in case people want to take them and like mess with them. But if I do that, I'm gonna have to iron things out, because when I'm making a project that's supposed to just be like a 2 or 3 day project for a game I'm never gonna work on again, I don't really organize the code out. It's just getting it out as fast as possible. So if I do that, I'm gonna have to spend time like clearing it up so people can understand what they're looking at.
So maybe that'll actually get into one of my questions was, so the first 2 projects that are on YouTube seem like they're very like one level, kind of short, just to like show the concept and show what you're working on. Do you have any plans of going a little deeper into any game, like maybe making a full demake? I know that's a lot, but...
A full demake? My Super Mario Odyssey one, I was thinking about it just because I'm pretty sure I can make levels for that game fairly quickly. So I was thinking about doing it, but I decided just to leave that as like a sub goal, because I'd rather just focus on hitting a bunch of games that I really wanted to see in like a classic style. So that's more of a sub goal. Like, if I ever hit this crazy high sub goal, then I'll do it. But for now, I kind of want to focus on just like smaller projects, just getting out what this game could look like if it were on that console.
No, I think the aesthetic is actually really great, and I love that you kind of pull the old sprite work wherever you can to try to make it like as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
And sorry, your actual like original sprite work is really dope too. Like in the Super Mario Odyssey one, you said all of the logo and everything was all handmade. So
Yeah.
like there's definitely a lot of stuff going on behind it.
Yeah, a lot goes into it when it comes to like art and stuff because some of the things you can get online, like you can find Mario sprites online fairly easy, but I had to turn Cap Kingdom into like a 2D like playing field, so I had to make all these tiles that resembled Cap Kingdom, but then also still flowed well in like a 2D environment because Cap Kingdom's really just white and black. So
Yeah.
like making that in 2D, you kind of have to like improvise. Like I added little shades of like blue and like other things like a whitish blue just to make it pop like a little bit, because when I just did it white and black it looked awful.
Yeah. And I actually, bringing up the colors, one of the coolest things I thought you did in the next video was when you were saying you were working on making the sprites and everything as realistic to the NES or SNES as I think it was NES. As realistic to the NES as possible. So you even matched up some of the color limitations that they had, which I thought was like a really great little attention to detail thing.
Yeah. Because I noticed with my first one, I kind of took liberties, especially with the resolution. Because originally I did it in the NES's 8x7 resolution, but I hate that resolution, so I was like, I'm widescreen. But then I was like, no, if you're gonna do it, then just go all in. Don't go halfway. So then with the next one, I went all in, and then especially with the one I'm currently working on, the Halo one, I downloaded the NES's actual palette, so I have the actual palette now. So now I'm only working with those colors. I'm sticking to only having 25 colors on screen. So just a lot of things like that. Like I'm trying to stay within the guidelines, just to give you what it would be like if they were to work with the NES's hardware to make these games.
So speaking of Halo now, that's got to be like a whole different type of idea going in your head, because when you have games like Mario, you have like you've got a huge backlog of stuff that you can look at, a lot of assets you can pull from. So the Halo thing kind of seems like it's a big undertaking compared to the Mario or any Nintendo really.
Yeah. With that one, this one it has been taking longer than the other ones, especially for aesthetics, because I was basing it off of Halo 1, which I was basing it off of the first mission, which you're on the Pillar of Autumn, and that whole ship is just gray. It's just gray with a bunch of time. And I'm like, how do I put just gray into an entire level and not have it look just ugly and generic?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, because you could put a border on that, but it's still going to be gray as hell.
Yeah, so I was like, I wanted to feel like you're playing Halo. Like I wanted to have the Halo aesthetics, but then I still wanted to look visually pleasing. So that was hard, but I think I struck a good middle ground with that. Designing things like the elites and the grunts. The grunt took forever for me to get looking normal. Like it looked ugly no matter what I tried. Like the one that I finally got to, I think is the best that I could possibly do with that style, and I actually like the way it looks now. But I'm not even kidding. Most of my time went to getting that grunt to look normal, because it just kept looking horrible.
So you're working on Breath of the Wild, or I don't know if you finished that, but that's going to be coming out soon, I would assume, alongside Halo.
Breath of the Wild.
Do you have
Halo and Smash?
Oh, and Smash. Is this kind of the trajectory you want to take, like working on these demakes? Is this what you see your streaming and YouTube becoming?
Well, yeah. I wanted to. Well, because right now I've just been kind of on a streak, just making demakes. So right now I want to focus on getting the ones that I wanted to tackle out of the way. Then after that, I want to do the content that I originally wanted to do, which was talking about video games and movies and music, because those are my favorite things: is video games, movies, and music. So I plan on having a channel where I talk about all those things, but then I also do like game design and other things on the side.
Okay, so I've got two questions off of that. The first one will be the easier one. Are you currently working on, or do you have plans to work on your own game from the ground up?
I've had that plan since I was like 13. Because I've been coding since I was like 12. So like
that was another question I had, but I didn't want to bring it up yet.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, I sometimes go too broad with my answers, um, but yeah, when it comes to that, I actually do plan on releasing my own game. Uh, I wanted to do. There's two types of games I want to release. One is a side-scrolling adventure game, kind of like a Zelda type game, but just like side-scrolling. And then
Okay.
the other one I wanted to do was a 2D fighting game because I love fighting games. Fighting games are like probably my favorite genre of like video game.
Well, there goes another answer to one of my questions. Actually, that's perfect.
Oh wow.
So, I'll give you one of our regular questions that we give to everybody. Feel you guys a little bit out. If you could take any one series or any type of media that could be adapted into a game, what would it be?
Or like any franchise and turn it into a game. Like if I could do that.
Yeah, like any or just in general, what would you love to see be made a game? Like when I get asked this question, I tell people all the time, one of my favorite shows as a kid was Yu Yu Hakusho. And
Oh wow.
that's
throwback.
yeah, right. And that's one of those games it's one of those series that it had a couple of fighting games, and it even had like an RPG on the Game Boy that I played obsessively as a kid. But it never got that like real big game treatment. So what's something that you would like to see either be made into a game or that you think you could work on yourself?
What would I like to be made into a game? A good game? I would want to see. Probably, if I were to take any franchise and turn it into a game, it would probably be Game of Thrones. That's one I would really want to see made into a really good game.
Oh, rather
And if
than
not-
those than the story game ones that they have, because I know like the Telltale games,
Yeah,
they have those,
Yeah,
but that's not what I'm looking for when I want to play Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, you know?
yeah. Like I'm thinking like Game of Thrones game is a really good game, has solid mechanics, and is set in the world of Game of Thrones. I would either do that, or my next one, which is pretty funny, I would like a really good Ninja Turtles game that's kind of like an Arkham style game. That would be my favorite game.
That would
Ever,
be
hands
sick.
down.
I'm really looking forward to Shredder's Revenge, but if
Really,
we got something
me
like that,
I would lose it.
yeah.
Day one purchase for me. Like,
Oh, 100%. I'd be on that. I'd be on that pre-order list right away. So I'll give you one final question, because this is something I've thought was really cool actually over the years. There have been a lot of homebrews and even like kind of big official releases that have been putting out games on consoles. So like one example was Micro Mages was a game that came out in 2019, and they actually made the NES cartridges for it.
yeah.
And
Retro
another
City
game.
Rampage was one too.
What was that?
Retro City Rampage.
Oh, yep. And Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl. That was another one that just came out within the last couple of years. Have you ever thought of trying to make like a homebrew and put a game? I guess that would come when you work on your own game, right?
Yeah, when it comes to that, I've never really messed with that. I've messed with video game mods a lot. Like I used to make custom tracks for Mario Kart DS. I
Oh,
toyed
wow.
with making some for Wii, but I'm not really a big fan of Mario Kart Wii. I used to mod Super Smash Bros. Brawl a lot back in the day. So when it comes to mods and like homebrews, like I mess with those a lot, but I've never actually tried like actually remaking like an older game using homebrews. Like that's something I've never tried before.
So you were definitely like a Project M kind of kid, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. Godlike.
Yeah. I knew you had to be into that one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. That is insane what they did with that game.
Oh, it's absolutely insane.
It's just crazy. Like all the work that went into that. Like they added so many modes and characters. It's actually crazy. And like stages. It's just insane.
That was like my dream as a kid. When I used to see people modding Super Smash Brothers, and they would put guys like Sora from Kingdom Hearts in there, and I would just be all over it.
I used to have those downloaded. I had Sora over Mario. I had Homer Simpson over Captain Falcon. Which is funny. I had Batman over Captain Falcon as well, which is funny.
That sounds
Batman
appropriate.
and Homer Simpson in the game.
Well,
So yeah, game mods fire.
no, yeah, we're actually doing a lot towards talking about game mods soon. So maybe one day if you want to come back, we could talk about game mods. You could show us some.
Absolutely.
You could maybe even show us some of the mods you got working on, or that you were working on back in the day.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely see if I can scoop up some of those because I've had so many computers over the years.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are spread across them. I have uploaded videos of some like online, but like some of them they're still like just hidden on some flash drive somewhere.
Oh yeah, things get lost. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's just life as you get older. Like things just vanish.
Yep.
It sucks.
And now I've got too much stuff lying around here.
Wow, that's about to be me with all the random projects I'm working on. Like my documents on my desktop is starting to fill up.
Yep, that's it. And like you were saying before, you get like kind of tunnel vision. The same thing happens to me, and then all of a sudden there's 5 projects on your desk on one side, 5 projects on the other side, and you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, and like none of it is like organized well at all, and you're just looking at like where did I put this again? So yeah, it really is like that.
Well, man, thank you for coming on. You're honestly a great guest. Like I said, if you ever want to come back, you just let me know. And
yeah, of course, I'm always down to do podcasts. I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time because I used to work construction. And
oh yeah.
Fortunately, like they would let me put my headphones in. So because I worked alone, like I did like carpentry mainly and like wood framing and like metal framing, so I could kind of do that by myself. So I would just listen to podcasts all day. So I like love podcasts.
Well, we'll definitely have you back then. And I'd love to see all the next videos you're working on. I was a huge fan of the Mario Kart one. I thought that was really cool. I actually want to go download it right now and test it out.
Oh yeah, it's hard. That's one thing I noticed. I was like, I need to put like a easier difficulty because when you're learning the mechanics, these computers will just like dust you. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you were saying they were kicking your ass.
Yeah. I was losing to them, but then finally I got good at it, so I could kind of like dust them. So now I was working on like an easy and like a hard difficulty, so I can upload it and so I can update it and then put it online. So that way, when people download, if they ever see the video in the future, they have like difficulty options instead of just getting destroyed by like the computer. You can start off on easy and then work your way up when you're better at the game.
Yeah, that's one of those that I hope you can revisit one day because I would love to play a couple more tracks on that.
Yeah, so would I. It's actually funny. I was playing it and I was like, it's kind of easy to make tracks for this. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I could finish this game in like 2 weeks or so and then just release it online. But if I do that, I want to add multiplayer.
Yeah,
like split screen, which I know is impossible on an NES. But if I'm making a full out Mario Kart game, I'm not gonna not add multiplayer. So I would take the liberties there.
I think we can overlook that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one on this earth would complain about being able to play Mario Kart on 4 players. So I think it's a win for everybody.
And I definitely don't want to play multiplayer the way they originally intended that.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing on like the same screen, like
that's
like trying to drive through a track, it just would not work.
No, not at all. But thank you again, man. I don't want to keep you because I know you're probably hella busy at this point.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. But just thank you for having me on. Like I love doing podcasts and things like that, so I don't mind coming on these. So if you ever want me on for another episode, I'm always available.
I mean, we'll definitely be in touch then.
Perfect. Well, other than that, you can take it easy.
All right, yeah, you too, man. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.